In the news this week, shut it down or keep it going. Federal Labor plans to stop live exports if elected.
Also new push on public education on waste management as Australia faces recycling crisis.
Police suspend a number of mobile speed cameras due to software fault.
And Perth's dramatic temperature swings from cold to hot within 2 days.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. Federal opposition announced support of banning live animal exports if it wins the next election. Ships containing animals arrived in Fremantle Port this week and was greeted by live export protesters. The Premier said the industry needs to clean up itself. Taylor Hannah reports.
The Barter III, which docked in Fremantle's port, has a horrific record involving many deaths in the live animal trade. During one of the exports, it was reported to have lost over 4,000 sheep in under 30 minutes due to an unexpected heat event. Activists said controversial ships exporting more livestock needs to stop.
The RSPCA, every animal welfare protection or rights organisation on the planet opposes the live export, especially long-haul live export of animals.
The announcement from Federal Labor brings fear the live export ban will see the demise of WA farmers and local communities who rely on the export industry as primary income.
On the other hand, a lot of people who drive trucks, run farms, live in regional towns, work on the port, rely upon it for their incomes. So we always need to take into account their needs as well.
Premier Mark McGowan believes the industry needs to clean itself up before it comes time to shut it down.
The mistreatment of those sheep was unacceptable, completely unacceptable and horrible. But I'm of the view we need to continue to work with the industry to get rid of the bad apples, to make sure we don't have these things occur in the future.
Taylor Hannah, WAMN News.
Experts claim more education is needed on better waste management as Australia faces a looming recycling crisis. It comes as WA plans to roll out a new waste management system to prevent contamination in the wake of China's import ban on reusable materials. Nelson Liu reports.
Australians have been recycling for years, but Lyle Davidson says it's still causing confusion.
There are people out there who either don't care or don't know.
The City of Coburn waste manager believes people aren't sure of what goes into recycling bins and are contaminating recyclable materials with general waste.
It comes from what the people put in the yellow top bins, and so we don't want gas bottles or clothes.
He says a better understanding is needed, with councils including his providing waste management education. It comes as China banned imported recyclable waste in January this year, sparking a potential recycling crisis in Australia.
They're just trying to protect their environment.
It's led to a push for all WA councils to adopt a 3-colour-coded bin system for waste. However, WA councils say the state isn't affected by the ban, with its recyclables not processed in China.
The news they're getting really applies to the eastern states and not to the western of Australia.
But waste experts say improvement for home waste management is still needed.
What we have to do is we have to change behaviour.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
WA Labor MP Tim Hammond has resigned from federal parliament, claiming the job was taking a toll on his family. The federal member for Perth quit suddenly on Wednesday, stating he wanted to spend more time with his young children. Mr Hammond said he would lose time with his children if he remained in parliament. Premier Mark McGowan said Mr Hammond's leaving was sad and unfortunate. Louis Pratt or Patrick Gorman will be vying for the seat.
WA Police have suspended the use of a number of mobile speed cameras after a motorist was wrongly charged and car impounded. 11 cameras were pulled off the roads when 20 of the 53,000 cars were wrongly detected to be speeding, with one female driver recording a false speed of 160 kilometres an hour. Her charges were dropped and car returned, and police say infringements issued will be reviewed because of the camera's software fault.
It's been about 53,000 detections, some of which have led to infringements being issued, not all. But we'll be checking every one of those to ensure that this anomaly has not led to anyone else receiving an infringement. It's very unlikely. We're quite confident that this is a very rare circumstance.
Perth has experienced some bipolar temperatures this week, with one of the coldest nights recorded this year, reaching 6 degrees at 6 a.m. Steph Bond, meteorologist at the Bureau of Meteorology, said it was the coldest night since October last year.
It is typical autumn weather to see these kind of fluctuations in kind of a bit warmer and then getting some cold fronts coming through as well.
Ms. Bond explained the transition between summer and winter patterns will see more cold nights and warm days throughout the month of May.
Sex abuse allegations have engulfed Nobel Prize in Literature, with the award postponed to next year instead. The decision was made following a members' meeting in Stockholm after scandals engulfed the Academy as it attempts to regain public confidence. The move makes it the second time in history that the award was not given since it began in 1901. US President Donald Trump's lawyer has been replaced, according to the White House. Veteran lawyer Emmett Flood will be joining the administration and represent Mr. Trump to fight allegations against the Russian probe. Back in 1998, Mr. Flood assisted former US President Bill Clinton to fight against impeachment proceedings. The replacement was made after Ty Cobb announced his retirement by the end of the month.
And next week, WAMN News will bring you special reports throughout federal and state budget. On WA's Budget Day, we'll have the latest announcements on the cost of living, reaction from stakeholders, and a special interview on Western Perspective with experts' analysis on how the changes affect you. Please stay tuned to our reports this coming week on WAMN News website and Facebook page.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. You can follow the latest news on our website and Facebook page.
Until next week, thanks for your company. Good evening.
Good night.